top left-hand pocket, so has to target the left middle. Nicely done.
29.
And now this could develop into a frame-winning visit.
$45. 46.
Gave that a little too much, but it was better to be this side of the pink than the other.
$52. 53.
Well, I said that Higgins needed to improve on yesterday's form. And it looks as though a good night's sleep has done him the world of good.
59.
Red, pink, red. And the opening frame will be
60.
secure. In style.
$66. 7.
Okay, so 1-0 Higgins, just a matter of whether he can go on to make a century.
$73. 74.
34 century breaks in the tournament so far. And Liang Wenbo has contributed 2 of them.
John Higgins, 74.
Well, Higgins is not going to contribute the century there. But his 73 break more than enough to win the first frame. Liang is carrying on for a little bit of table time, but there's no way back from here. Needs 6 snookers.
Well. $8. 9. Yeah, wenbo, 9.
Just looked at John Higgins, said, "Is that okay if I concede?" Higgins said, "Of course it is." And so the Scot, off to a very good start indeed. He'll be happy with that. He's taken a 1-0 lead. And in fact, I can tell you that is the first frame over in any of the last 16 matches. Still early days, Anthony McGill, Andrew Higginson. Dave Harold looks as though he's going to make a good start against Jed Trump. Harold currently on a break of 52. And all the rest of the frames are very much in their early stages. You might be wondering how the draw pans out. Well, Higgins or Liang Wenbo will play Lee Yan or Rory McLeod. Jamie Cope or Ben Williston will take on Marcus Campbell or Neil Robertson. It's Higgins or McGill against Harold or Trump, and Lazowski or Ford against Thepchaiya Anu or Mark Davis. Quarterfinals, by the way, coming your way at 11 o'clock British time.
Second frame. Liang Wenbo.
That's 12 noon Central European. 1 o'clock in the afternoon here in Bulgaria. Well, Higgins there played to just dump the cue ball under the top cushion. Instead suffered a double kiss, and Liang's in. And yesterday, by and large, when he had chances, he took them, fully exploited them. Started out with a 4-0 win over Rares Sinker, a Romanian amateur, in which he made breaks of 83, 128 and 108. And then in his next two outings, he beat two former world champions. Overcame Sean Murphy 4-2 in the last 64, helped by breaks of 70, 80, 89 and 63. And then last night, in the last 32, he fought back from 2-0 down to beat Ken Doherty 4-2. Helped on his way by breaks of 56 and 80 there. So he's been scoring really heavily. Much more heavily than Higgins. Couple of first frames now in the books on outside tables. Dave Harold leads Judd Trump 1-0, as I suspected it would be. And Mark Davis has taken a 1-0 lead over Thailand's Thepchaiya Anu.
Liang Wenbo. 6.
Well, there seemed to be a little bit of a hesitation, deceleration in the cue there as he played that shot. And he struck it very badly. What a let-off for Higgins.
One. Eight. Nine.
Referee Nico DeVos called into action to clean the cue ball on the request of John Higgins. Detected a kick there. We had quite a few of them on this table yesterday.
$16. 17.
Good angle on the red.
24.
Still back for the black. After that, a choice of a couple of open reds.
25.
But if the angle suits, might go into them here. Now the back of the pack is a little flat, which can cause problems. Good split though, and it could be 2-0. All depends whether Higgins can get past the pink to pop the red to top right. Yes, the path is there.
$33.
Very nicely played. Now has a choice of reds. The obvious one to the right-hand middle, and also I think the red just to the right-hand side of that mini bunch of 5.
$41.
Higgins started off yesterday morning against Georgi Velichkov, Bulgarian amateur, with a 4-0 win.
$48.
Then he beat Barry Pinches 4-1 and finally Craig Steadman 4-2. Wasn't especially impressive during the day, but this is a whole lot better. That's very unlucky. Very unlucky. Played the shot nicely. Didn't hit the reds quite thick enough. More of a glancing blow, but didn't deserve to go in off. Three more score updates for you quickly. Neil Robertson has taken the opening frame against Marcus Campbell. Tom Ford 1-0 over Jack Lazowski. Ben Wollaston 1-0 over Jamie Cope. And as yet in this one, Liang, well, he just hasn't got started. It was a tough cutback, of that there's no doubt, and I think Higgins' decision there was influenced by the fact that A, he felt pretty good after the start he's made, and B, those two awkward reds, one on the right hand side cushion, one on the left.
6. Seven.
Not the cleanest of pots, just about wriggled in off the far jaw. Now I think from Liang's reaction he can pot the red to the right hand middle. Indeed.
$15.
That works. World number 42 at the moment, Liang Wenbo. Highest ever ranking a couple of years back, number 16. One of only 2 Chinese players to infiltrate the top 16. The other one, of course, Ding Junhui. That's if you don't include Hong Kong's Marco Fu.
$22.
And he's had a pretty good career, Liang. Runner-up in the Shanghai Masters in 2009, lost out to Ronnie O'Sullivan. He's made a 147 in a major world ranking tournament. 2008 Bahrain Championship. And last summer, he teamed up with Ding as China won the World Cup in Bangkok, Thailand. Also in July 2009, he won an invitation event in his homeland, the Beijing International Challenge.
27.
And in 2008, he was the first ever Chinese player to reach the quarterfinals of the World Championship.
28.
Overcame Ken Doherty and Joe Swale before losing 13-7 to Ronnie O'Sullivan. Now the tough bit starts. One other career note for
35.
Liang. Back in 2005, again in Bahrain, he won the World Under-21 Championship, overcoming Tian Pengfei, fellow Chinese player, 11-9 in the final. So he's useful. But the red there caught the
35.
cushion much too early. Let me quickly tell you, Andrew Higginson leads Anthony McGill 1-0. Mark Davis now 2-0 up on Thep Choi Un Nu.
One.
Good part. The kiss could have been better. Yes, the red pots, but across the ball cushion. This kind of shot is a real examination. If it goes, more than likely, Higgins will lead 2-0.
John Higgins, 8.
Well, at least he had the presence of mind, as Higgins always has, to play the shot correctly, playing at that pace, apart from the fact he was getting position on the ball colours, which he needed. He also knew that more than likely, if the red missed, he would get safe. As it is, he's got the snooker. I was about to say, I think he'll settle for that, but not the in-off. Oh.
John Higgins, 4.
Well, a little earlier in the frame, Higgins was unfortunate to go in off into the same pocket after potting the black and splitting the pack. In many respects, that was even more unfortunate. But I was about to say, even then, the red wasn't easy. Could be a very useful kiss indeed on the blue, that. Fortunate. Liang apologises as he walks away from the table. Now, has the cue ball travelled far enough? Can Liang pot the red? I think he can, you know. Let me quickly tell you before he embarks on this possible clearance. Jed Tremp has equalised on table 3 against Dave Harold. 1-1 there. And 2-0 for Tom Ford over Jack Lazowski. Now, the obvious issue here is whether Liang can get on the green.
Six. Eight.
And there's the answer. No. Safety coming up.
Young wenbo. 8.
And a pretty good safety it is. Now, looking at this, Higgins might just be able to see a thin sliver of the green. Well, he could, and it was actually a guide to the pot. Higgins turns around, has a look at the scoreboard. 7 ahead. So he needs brown and blue to leave Liang requiring a snooker. Needs the cue ball to travel, Higgins, and it's not doing so. Well, he's missed a number of balls towards the end of this frame. None of them easy, but balls you expect him to pot. A couple of reds across the ball cushion, and now the brown there.
Four.
Liang just needs blue and pink. Hard to imagine he won't draw level.
Nine.
There it is. John Higgins knows he could easily be 2-0 ahead. As it is, Liang is now back all square. 1-1. Now both players leaving the arena gives us the opportunity to get you right up to date with the latest scores. Well, I can tell you that Rory McLeod has taken a 1-0 lead over Lee Yan. It's 1-0 for Andrew Higginson over Anthony McGill. Dave Harold won the first against Judd Trump. Trump won the second, so 1-1 there. Mark Davis has begun really well against Thepchairan Nu from Thailand. Davis leads 2-0. Other scores: Neil Robertson 1, Marcus Campbell 0. Although it looks as though Campbell might just be on the verge of drawing level at 1-1. It's 2-0 for Tom Ford over Jack Lazowski in the third frame of a predictably fast-flowing match. Lazowski leading 46-0. And Ben Wollaston, who was in really good form yesterday, beating a couple of former world champions in Peter Ebden and then Mark Williams. Well, Wollaston leads Jamie Cope 2-0. This Victoria Bulgarian Open has been really successful. The crowds have been exceptional. They've absolutely loved seeing the top level players in the flesh. Of course, they get the opportunity to see them an awful lot on television because of the excellent coverage provided from virtually every event by Eurosport. And I think it's been Eurosport's coverage of snooker that's enabled the game to become so popular on the continent. Not just here, of course. Hungary, Poland, Czech Republic, big areas of growth in Eastern Europe for the game. And we know about the extraordinary success story, the extraordinary boom in Germany. beating a top-level player is never easy. I just get the feeling with Higgins, though, he might be a little susceptible. He made a large number of mistakes yesterday, but got away with them because his opponents couldn't take advantage. We saw all three of his matches here on the main table on liveworldsnooker.tv. And if you were watching, I think you'll agree with me, the 4 times world champion, who can be absolutely extraordinary in his precision, wasn't at his best. Caught that safety much too thin. Cue ball as a result, in and out of baulk. Also as a consequence, mid-range reds left. And Liang is the kind of player who doesn't shirk when it comes to taking on tempting pots. The one criticism levelled at him over the years has been he goes for the odd shot too many. Higgins looked good in the first frame, break of 73 if you're just joining us. In the second, made 47, unlucky to pot a black and running off to the middle pocket in trying to break up the reds. But towards the end of the frame, he missed a lot of balls he would normally pot. That being another one of them.
Seven. Eight.
Nicely judged positional cannon. With the black out of commission and the blue also. The pink is very much Liang's friend here.
$14. 15. 21. Twenty-two.
Taking them nicely, and you just sense at the moment the momentum has shifted.
28.
Higgins, that really good start, but when you waste chances, the game often comes back to bite you.
29.
The break increasing in multiples of 7 because, of course, the pink is the only high-value colour that's available.
$36.
Let me quickly give you some more scores I know you'll be interested in. Andrew Higginson and Anthony McGill 1-1. On table 3, Judd Trump has taken a 2-1 lead over Dave Harold. Harold started that frame with a break of 45. Trump, though, roaring back to win it. It remains Mark Davis 2, Thepchaya and Nu 0. Marcus Campbell has equalised against Neil Robertson, 1-1 there. Jack Lazowski has his first frame on the board against Tom Ford, but he trails 2-1. And Ben Wollaston
42.
Leads Jamie Cope 2-0. And he leads by 41 points to 0 in the third frame as well.
$43.
I have to apologise, by the way, for not giving you updates of Rory McLeod's match against Lee Yan. The reason for that is the scoreboard malfunctioned in the first frame. I can tell you McLeod did win the first frame, but that's all I know.
$49.
At the end of the Players Tour Championship Series, the top 25 go into the PTC Grand Finals, which will take place in Ireland next year,
50.
to be joined by 7 players from the Asian Players Tour Championship Series. Now that's complete. Liang can't claim a place from the Asian PTC Series, but he certainly can from the European one. With the points he's earned in this tournament so far, as it stands, he's 30th on the order of merit. So a victory here would do him the power of good.
56. $57.
Well compiled break this so far, but now it gets tricky.
63.
Super. And now really the frame, almost certainly Liang's. Just the black needed to leave Higgins requiring a snooker.
$71. $72. $78. $79.
Well, hasn't this been a really good break?
$85. $86.
Asking a lot to try and swing the cue ball around there and remove the red next to the blue.
93.
Looks as though Liang is going to fall short of the century. Nevertheless, excellent stuff.
wenbo, 94.
Indeed, the break ends at 93, but more than sufficient for Liang Wenbo to go in front. He trailed 1-0. Now, though, he leads John Higgins by 2 frames to 1. The story of this match so far, if you're just joining us, well, John Higgins made a 73 break in the first frame, looked very sharp indeed in doing so. In the second frame, made a good start with a run of 47. Potted a black, went into the pack and was unlucky to going off into a middle pocket. Still, he had chances later on. A couple of reds missed across the ball cushion that weren't easy, in fairness to him. Then he missed the brown at the end, which was a tough pot also. Liang cleared brown to pink, 1-1. And in the frame that's just been completed, Higgins had a good chance early, missed a red with the rest. Liang stepped in with the 93 break. In other matches, Andrew Higginson and Anthony McGill, 1-1. Judd Trump, 2-1 up on Dave Harold. Mark Davis now 2-1 up on Thepchai Unu. It was 2-0. The ties just won frame 3. Marcus Campbell and Neil Robertson, 1-1. Tom Ford 2-1 up on Jack Lazowski. Ben Wollaston still 2-0 up on Jamie Coate.
Thank you. Frame 4. Liang Wenbo to break.
And I must be honest, I think Higgins is looking a little vulnerable here. Has to win this frame. Definitely in his capabilities, of course, to come back from 3-1 down. But the way he's playing, you just don't fancy it.
Foul.
Now that's a break-off you see
fine.
more often than you might think. Hitting the blue full ball on the way back and knocking it in. Many, many years ago, when the World Championship first started at the Crucible, extensive coverage-wise on BBC, one of the opening credits featured a break-off like that. Don't know why they put it in, but it did. A player breaking off and hitting the blue and knocking it towards the baulk pocket. Frustratingly, the picture always cut out before the blue went in, but it was definitely going there. Now that's frustrating for John Higgins. The white is on the black spot, but there's no other spots available. Hence Nico de Vos placing the black nearest its own spot in a direct line towards the top cushion, and that means Higgins is snookered on the red he was trying to be on. At least he's got an alternative to the middle, but this isn't easy.
John Higgins, 8.
Good news for fans of Judd Trump, by the way. With 5 reds left on the table in the 4th frame, Dave Harrell needs a snooker. It looks as though Trump is going to lead 3-1 there. Also very good news for Thai snooker followers. Thepchaiya Anu, the former world amateur champion, has recovered from 2-0 down to draw level with Mark Davis at 2-2. Inventive, accurate. And one has to say there, I think Liang's safety was a little lax. Should have realised that the possibility of a plant was there.
Six. $13. 14.
Couple of open reds still. Higgins, though, doesn't have the best of angles on the black, and he's queuing awkwardly as well. All things considered, he played that really nicely.
21. 22.
Lovely shot. Lovely.
27.
Just a tad clumsy on the black there. This is a little more difficult than he would like. Can't imagine he'd miss it. But it's just one of those that there's an extra grain of pressure on. Well done. And from here, Higgins would be very annoyed
35.
if he doesn't go on to win the frame. Well, I think he's going to be annoyed with that. Awkward queuing left over the red. Wanted the cue ball to travel more than it did. I can confirm, by the way, it is now 3-1 to Judd Trump. Also 2-1 to Anthony McGill over Andrew Higginson.
44.
John Higgins travelled to this tournament
51.
with Marcus Campbell, and I can tell you Higgins' fellow Scot and good friend has taken a 2-1 lead over Neil Robertson. Tom Ford now 3-1 up on Jack Lazowski. Jamie Cope has won frame 3 against Ben Wollaston, but still trails 2-1.
52.
So this elementary pink and one more red. And the scores will be tied again, this time at 2-2.
58. 59. 65. 66.
A really good chance for the first century of the tournament from John Higgins.
$68. 69.
'It would also actually be the first
76.
century break of today. We've not seen one in the last 16 matches yet.
77. 82. 83. 88. 89.
Good match this. Good quality snooker.
96. .98.
John Higgins, well accustomed to the applause that greets a century break.
105.
That's his 512th in professional competition. He's 12th this season.
110.
Oh, I think Higgins thought he'd fluke the pink across the ball cushion. So did I. Break of 110. Higgins 2. Liang Wenbo 2. Back in a moment.
Fifth frame. John Higgins to break.
Well, Liang cued that one superbly, but not quite superbly enough. Hit the white really well, held the cue ball for the black. Rattled in the pocket. But to use a terrible cliche, he put all of his eggs in one basket. He knew if he potted it, he would be off and running. But he also knew, playing it like that, if he missed it, Higgins would be presented with a gilt-edged chance By the way, I can tell you, although it's not officially in the books yet, Judd Trump is going to beat Dave Harold 4-1. And guess what? Trump's on a century break at the moment, around 100.
Nine.
That's his 36th century break of the season. The count just keeps rising and rising.
$16.
There won't be a century here. Higgins out of position, it seems.
John Higgins. 16.
By the way, we've received no notification yet about which quarter-final we're going to be bringing you. Although I would suspect Trump against Higgins nor McGill would be quite a warm favourite. It is in the books now. Trump has beaten Dave Harold 4-1, and so Trump goes into the quarter-finals. And of course, with every match he wins, Trump, he's increasing his lead over Mark Selby in the world rankings, because Selby was beaten in the last 32 here. Funnily enough, by Trump's flatmate, Jack Lazowski. Well, he played to hit that red, but on the way up the table, not back down it off the cushion. What a blunder. Played to hit the red thin, missed it completely. Higgins right back in amongst them.
One.
Actually, in fairness to him, that was a little more complex than I painted it. Had to stun across, potting the red to the middle, and now in prime position again. I can tell you, the century breaks are flowing in thick and fast. Andrew Higginson currently on a 3-figure contribution. He's going to draw level with Anthony McGill at 2-2. The winner, of course, to play Judd Trump.
Nine. $16. $17. $24. $25.
That will do nicely. Choice of red to top right,
32.
or more likely to left middle. Well, he's gone off the red to the middle, using the extended rest. And really, this shot does seem entirely simple, so you can understand his thinking.
.33.
Yesterday in the last 64, when John Higgins beat Barry Pinches, it was his 5th win over Pinches in as many meetings as professionals. If he prevails here, it will be his 5th win over Liang
41.
in as many meetings. Now, screw back a little too much there for the blue. This is quite a thin cut, and the thinner the cut, it follows that the cue ball control is reduced.
.46.
I think Higgins must have thought at one point there he wasn't on a red at all, but there is a gap between the two reds to the other one.
47.
And now, the break having reached 47, the Higgins lead having reached 63. This black and one more red. And Higgins will regain the lead.
54. 55. 62. 63.
Not the best of contacts there. Very latest news from table 6. The tournament's maximum man, Tom Ford, who made a 147 against Matthew Stevens in the last 32. His progress continues.
7.
Ford has beaten Jack Lazowski by 4 frames to 1. And Ben Williston, who like Ford hails from Leicester, Williston now leads Jamie Cope 3-1.
77. 84.
Well, in the Premier League on Thursday night at Spennymoor Leisure Centre in the northeast of England, John Higgins, even though he was beaten 4-2 by Peter Ebdon, made back-to-back centuries. Can he do so here? 110 break in the previous frame. Now red and black will bring up another turn.
92.
Oh, what a pity. The break ends at 92. John Higgins led 1-0. He fell behind at 2-1, but now he's back in front. Higgins 3, Liang 2. Higgins requires one more frame for his place in the quarter-final. Other scores, Andrew Higginson and Anthony McGill locked together at 2 frames each. Mark Davis led Thepchara Nu 2-0, was pegged back to 2-2. Now, though, Davis back in front at 3-2. And I can tell you, he's on the verge of victory. He's on a 56 break in frame number 6, needing only a couple more balls to leave the tie requiring snookers. Neil Robertson fell 2-1 behind to Marcus Campbell. Now, though, they're locked together at 2-2 in the early stages of frame 5. And as I told you, Ben Wollaston, he leads Jamie Cope 3-1. Judd Trump already through with that 4-1 win over Dave Harold. Rory McLeod, by the way, leads Lee Yan 2-0. My score updates from that particular match might not be as quick as some of the others, purely and simply because the scoreboard, the electronic scoreboard on that table, isn't working.
Thank you. Frame 6, Liang Wenbo to break.
So can Liang Wenbo force a decider, or will John Higgins come through 4-2 as he did in the previous round against Craig Steadman? Beautifully cued from John Higgins, wasn't it? Absolutely beautiful. He anticipated the cue ball being up the table for the blue. He struck it so well, it's travelled a little more than he thought it would. The blue, though, still on. Still viable. Mind you, didn't want that kiss. Wanted to come off the top cushion and drop on the red, I think, closest to the black.
6.
Higgins just playing safe. And while he does so, let me tell you, Mark Davis has beaten Thepcharo Nu 4-2.
John Higgins, 6.
And so Davis now plays Tom Ford in the quarterfinals. I also told you that a while ago now, the first player into the quarterfinals was Judd Trump, the world number 1, who took only 63 minutes to beat Dave Harold 4-1. Harold won the first frame with a break of 74. Trump then made breaks of 49, 78, 71 and 107. Looking mighty good, isn't he? Well done from Liang. Never easy when the cue ball is so close to a pocket like that and your bridge hand is rather in an unfamiliar kind of situation. Stroked it in nicely, and the balls are invitingly placed, aren't they? All of the high value colours in the Open, plenty of reds also.
Three. Four.
When John Higgins won the Players Tour Championship event in Gloucester on Wednesday, same format as here of course, playing last 16, quarter-final, semi-final and final in the same day, he actually played 27 frames on the final day of that tournament. Liang digging into the brown too much there, that's why it came off too wide.
8.
Caught the green. Yes, Higgins beat Steve Davis 4-3 in the last 16, then Barry Hawkins, then Anthony Hamilton also by 4-3 scorelines before beating Judd Trump 4-2 in the final. Doesn't want this one to go the distance either, especially considering his potential opponent in the quarterfinals, who could be Rory McLeod, one of the most methodical players you're ever likely to see.
wenbo. 8.
Now that's Liang's weakness. When he gets out of position, sometimes he feels as though he's got to try and force the issue, takes on pots that might be tempting to him, but also are potentially destructive. In this case, most definitely so. Now Higgins didn't try anything extravagant there with the cue ball, because he knew if he dropped on the blue, as he has done, no problem getting in and out of balk with the green being off its spot.
Six. Seven.
Is he short of pace here? Just about okay.
10.
Would have preferred the red slightly straighter than this.
$11.
But still, finding that gap, finding that zone of the table was no problem whatsoever.
$18. $19.
Three or four more open reds for
26.
John Higgins to target. It's beginning to look a little bit grim for Liang.
27.
Not the best there though. Not the best. This is missable. Lovely shot, wasn't it? Great recovery. The position from the last red to that black there,
34.
by Higgins' standards, was poor. What followed was excellent.
35.
We have another quarter-finalist, by the way, Ben Wollaston, continuing his excellent form here, has beaten Jamie
41.
Cope 4-1. So Wollaston now awaits either Marcus Campbell or Neil Robertson.
.42.
Choice of reds to the right-hand middle pocket. All of the reds now in the open. And there I was saying that John Higgins was vulnerable when he was 2-1 down. Apologies there for a temporary loss of picture, but we've come back just in time to see Higgins pot the red. That's left Liang requiring snookers, and there's no way back now. We can definitely say that John Higgins has won 11 consecutive matches
63.
in PTCs, still on course for back-to-back titles.
64.
And he's now beaten Liang on all 5 occasions they've met in pro tournaments.
71.
Well, John Higgins made a 110 break in the 4th frame, made 92 in the 5th, missing the last red across the top cushion when another century was on the cards. How about one here?
$79. 80.
Well, his performance in this match has been his best in the tournament by a million miles.
86. 88.
Pity, no century break, but a run of 88, and John Higgins makes really good progress. He started off with a 73 break to take a 1-0 lead, fell 2-1 down as Liang put together a 93 in the 3rd, but then breaks of 110, 92, and the one we've just seen, John Higgins through in some style by 4 frames to 2. And so the quarter-final lineup is now beginning to take real shape. At the top of the draw, it's going to be Tom Ford against Mark Davis, Trump against Higgins and Norm McGill, Higgins against Liang or McLeod, Ben Wollaston against Marcus Campbell or Neil Robertson.